Introducing Tundra Football League.
Bart now. I'm in Salt Marsh's car. I've been in here all day. If you look carefully, there's the almanac. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it and roll out of here. Fingers crossed I don't get hurt in the process. Real quiet now. Shh. Don't go any further. Alright, now shoot. Here we go. No, he ain't gonna get me. He ain't gonna get me. Help me. I'm all right. I'm okay. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. I can't find it. Oh God. I'm gonna. Now I gotta go get the one at Matt's house. Welcome back, my friends and fellow FTFLers, to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football update show. That's right, this is the FTFL Weekly Update, and I am not only your host, but I am also the owner of the number one seed in the playoffs. I am the one and only king of the FTFL, and I absolutely am that Christmas song deep down in your heart. It is I, Brett, Week 13, the regular season in the books. And on to the playoffs we march. Now, for only the third time in league history, we had 3 teams with 9+ victories in the win column. Now, among those 3 teams, all of them, every single one of them, myself, Matt, and Jeff, none of us were in the playoffs last year. Whew! What a turnaround this year. Now, of course, the league champ from last year fell all the way to the bottom. Did narrowly avoid tying for the worst record of all time. However, starting right now, you're on the clock, Andy. You are on the clock. Number 1 overall draft pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Hopefully, you've been keeping tabs so you do not make the same mistakes as some of your predecessors. This week, we're going to get one last Who Dis? Who dis? And I think it's a good one, along with a special guest to recap the show, to recap the regular season. Not entirely sure who it is. The producer said it is someone that I know, and they left it at that. Before we get to either of those segments, so let's get to the games from this week. First and foremost, a battle of first place teams, sort of, in the North and the South. Matt, coming into this game, 7 victories in a row. The last 4 over winning teams, including last couple weeks ago, where he beat the other first place team in the North. Well, of course, that was me. This week, it all came to a crashing halt. He's got a week now to regroup and get ready for his second round opponent, yet to be determined. 103.5 for Matt, 118.5 for Jeff. Of course, gets the win, but because I won, he finishes not only second in the North, but third overall. Jeff probably wants me to mention that he did this week finally overtake the points lead. He edged me out by 4 points on the season. Way to go. If you're Jeff, Darrell Waller had a career day, 34.5. Josh Allen, who is really just coming on strong. Now, will this be the Josh Allen Jeff gets in the playoffs, or will he get fumbles McSkrewski, who likes to give the ball to the other team? I don't know, but for this week, 30 points, and it definitely aided in his victory. Nick Chubb, 12.5. DeAndre Hopkins, welcome back with 12. Derrick Henry, 4.5. Gonna need more in the playoffs from him. The Pittsburgh defense got 3. Again, Jeff with a big week, a nice win, but it didn't do much for him as far as improving his standings. If you're Matt, one of your better weeks of the season, Derek Carr, 38. Devontae, best receiver in football, Adams, 25. Adam Thielen, 14. Ezekiel Elliott, 8 points. This season, 125.5 points. Last year, 219. The year before that, 212.5. Matt has persevered even though one of his keepers has absolutely. This may even be more so than Andy's keeper, at least Lamar Jackson. Not someone Michael Thomas, but Michael Thomas with the injuries, you really can't do much with that. It is what it is, but Ezekiel Elliott has absolutely underperformed this year no matter. Matt marches on. Now, he is probably, fingers crossed, hoping that Antonio Gibson isn't all that hurt. 2 carries, 14 yards, 0 points, and then he was gone from that game. Matt ends up as the number 2 seed because the 3 of us tied the head-to-head amongst all of us in the combined records. I was 2-1. Matt was 1-1. Jeff was 1-2. Therefore, Matt is the number 2 seed. All right, coming up next game, the Radioactive Monkeys coming in at 7-5, taking on Team Linkowitz at 6-6. Now, Linkowitz win and he's in, lose and have Eric lose and he's in, and that's actually what happened. And he only lost by a point, 85.5 to 84.5. The Monkeys, Stupid Face Jr. Kyler Murray, 24 points back off the schneid. Harrison Bucker, 18. James Robinson with his 15 points and still firm grasp on the I Promise updated chart this week with 15. Colts defense with 10. Miles Sanders, 2 points. Jimmy Graham, 0 points. Just an absolute pathetic excuse for a tight end. Oh, hold on, though. Hold on. Michael Gallup. Finally, for the first time, won a week in the worst trade potentially in FTFL history. Gallup in a 10th for Kirk in a 4th. 13.5 for him. It didn't matter. He's on the bench, and he won anyways. If you're John, Big Ben, 22. Jonathan Taylor, 19.5. Marvin Jones Jr., 16. Brandon Ayuk, 14.5 on the bench. Pretty certain that's John's rookie keeper. He loses, however, because Eric lost. John, despite everything he has done this year, he is still in the playoffs, and that is all you can ask for. Next up, third game here before we get to that very much so anticipated recap interview. Yours truly, Hulkamaniacs, coming in at 8-4 versus the Pack Attack at 6-6. He is one of the few teams that I have a winning record against, and the trend continues. And with that win, not only do I make it to 9 wins, but I am also, for just the 3rd time in the historic history of the Hulkamaniacs franchise, your Northern Division champs. Now, if you're Eric, you lost, and you're out. 60, not only lost, got pounded. 63.5 for Eric, 104 for me. The usual suspects, Aaron Rodgers, 22. Miami's defense, 17. Jason Sanders, 14. That Miami connection has really started to pay dividends. Chris Carson, 13.5. Still sounds like his foot's dinged up. I'm hoping that he continues to improve week after week. Alvin Kamara, 13. Did get a touchdown, had some yards, even though I feel Taysom Hill is the worst thing that has ever happened to Alvin Kamara. If you're Eric, Russell Stupid Face Wilson pretty much shut down the kitchen, 12 points. That team is really out of sync. Somehow I am able to persist without massive contributions from Lockett and Metcalf right now. Hopefully that changes soon. Also with 12 points on Eric's team, maybe his second best kicker, Young Hui Koo. Also, Amari Cooper, 10.5 on Tuesday Night Football. Clyde Edwards, Big Bust Hilaire, 0 points. Earlier that day, it was noted that he was feeling sick, may or may not play. Game time decision was going to play, and then Didn't. 0 points for him. That will be reflected poorly on the chart because guess who's back? That's right, the MG himself, Myles Gaskin. But before we get to that, anything else, it is time now for that super special interview recap of the 2020 regular season here in the FTFL. Let us go live to that now. All right, well, I don't know where my special guest is and what is the Radisson sanitation? This doesn't... I gotta talk to my wait. Well, what? No way.
Hello, Evo. It is I, your favorite president.
What are you doing here? No, you can't be the special guest.
I am the special guest to everybody. I have the most important announcement I have ever had during my presidency.
No, you were done. We were done with this. We weren't going to see you at all this year. I can't... what? Just, you know what?
It's not over.
Just get it over with. What is it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Radisson for booking us. That was a wonderful treat that they could have us here for hosting this event. One of the most important speeches I've had to make in my entire presidential career is coming up tonight. An important announcement.
About the FTFL 2020 season. That's the most important one?
That is the most important thing to the American people. That is what they want to hear. The fraud that is happening in the FTFL.
Criminy.
Next, I would also like to congratulate the king of the FTFL North for being the most dominant four-time FTFL champion in league history.
Hold on. Stop. You are not a four-time champion. You have not won four... No, Sid did not win 4 titles.
It's not over. We'll see what happens when the votes are all counted in this league. The points are all added up.
But the season's over. He finished 5-8.
I don't believe that. I don't accept that. With all the fraud that's going on, we don't know that till everything's counted. I have lawsuits going all over the place. They're going to media outlets. And
wait, someone's handing me something here. Hold on. What is this piece of paper? What am I supposed to do with this?
Oh, that must be one of my lawsuits right there. I'm suing your fake media outlet.
Wonderful. You know what? Just keep going. Hurry up.
Big fat. Well, we're going to prove there's fraud going on in the FTFL. I mean, playing dead people in the NFL, that's not legal.
Who played a dead person?
A.J. Brown hasn't scored a touchdown in 3 years, and all of a sudden he comes back from the dead to score a touchdown when I lose by 1.5 points, when the king of the FTFL loses by 1.5 points. I mean, come on.
Did you mean A.J. Green?
A.J. Green, yes, exactly. A.J. Green.
He's not dead. Right? He's not dead. No, he's not.
I beg to differ. Also, what about all the people getting hurt for the king of the FTFL? They're pretending to be hurt on the field and not finishing games. I mean, that affected his season. That right there, people are paying these people off.
Injuries are part of the game. I don't know what you're getting at here.
Not when they're pretending to be hurt. These guys are just being paid off.
Unreal.
Can't see. They're ruining the big, beautiful team that the king of the FTFL is.
It's over.
It's all fake media outlets like the FTFL Weekly Update that causes problem. Spread rumors out to the American people. I can't stand it.
I'm going to ask my producers to just let me go. I can't put up with this anymore.
Oh, wait. We got a commercial break, and then we're going to have a big announcement after the commercial break. Hold on one sec.
A commercial break? What on earth is going on? You know what? Someone's going to pay for this. This is ridiculous. Wait.
Are you tired of players who play the king of the FTL pretending to get hurt? I think you are. Can you trust teams to be fair when they have dead players playing for them? No. If so, donate to fight the fraud. To donate, call 1-800-FTFL-2020. That's 1-800-FIGHT-THE-FRAUD-2020. Disclaimer, 60% of the proceeds will go to paying for King of the FTFL's transaction fees. Now, back to Trump.
I apologize to anyone who's watching right now. I'm at a loss for words. I hope this ends rather quickly.
What a great commercial that was. The biggest, best commercial we could have had. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes, hopefully the end of this interview.
The only person who can make the FTFL right again. Well, that's not true. I can do it myself. But the only team, the big announcement happening tonight is, get ready for it. We are making Premier Cup greater again. He's coming back to the FTFL.
What is this? Is
right away. That is girl, make America greater again.
This is.
You can all have a great evening.
Wow.
Welcome back. Make America greater.
Well, there you have it, folks. The 2020 season recap. Simply stunning. This is the 5th year we're doing the FTFL Weekly Update. Year 5. That man has been a part of the first 4 years. And then we all thought at the end of last year, that was it. No mas. Yet, he's like that fungus underneath your toenail. You just can't quite seem to get rid of him. You know what? How about something happy? A lighter side of thing. One more Who Dis for the 2020 season, and then we'll wrap up with the last couple games and get ready for week 1 of the playoff. Who Dis? Now, if you've been paying attention, which apparently some of you are paying closer attention than I thought, which makes my heart warm, because again, the aforementioned chart snafu of last week, which I promise you has been rectified this week on Who Dis, a man who I have somewhat poked fun at, but still, massive fan because, well, I'm a Beaver, you're a Beaver, we're a Beaver all, but Gunnar Olszewski had sat on John's roster all year. John picked him, of course, because he was a Bemidji State Beaver. 2 weeks ago, had a punt return called back on a flag. This last week, found pay dirt. His story is an interesting one. It started November 26, 1996. That's right, he was born 2 years before some of us graduated from high school. I think Deason was already into his 30s at that point in time. Down in Alvin, Texas. An Alvin, Texas boy, found Bemidji State University. Upon his arrival, he immediately got to work, and by the time he was a senior, he was named the NSIC Defensive Player of the Year in 2018. That's right, he was a defensive player. Like, whoa, Brett, but he's a receiver. I know. Now, come April, May, he went undrafted. He was invited to 2 rookie minicaps, the Minnesota Vikings and the New England Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots said that they were hoping, actually take that back, both teams passed on him until Jared Valdehier up and retired for the Patriots, opening up a spot. So, Gunnar, come on back for training camp in August. We'd love to see more of you. So he shows up for training camp. On the day that it's time to make the cuts from 90 down to 53, he's told that morning, sorry, Gunnar, we're going to have to cut you. And then they traded somebody named Keon Crossan, and all of a sudden, he was in. 3-year deal with a $2,500 signing bonus. Big pimpin'. Spending cheese, I'm sure, is what nobody said to him after that. His end of his 2019 season ended on the IR. He went on IR early the 2020 season, but it seems he is now finally getting his footing. We all, of course, want big things on our Gunnar Olszewski. Bravo, my man. And that has been Who Dis? Who Dis? All right, so here we go. Last couple games. Ryan Deason Fantasy Football, really the last game that actually mattered. The Ryan Deason Fantasy Football team coming in at 5-6, taking on the Deason award-winning visitors from Planet B with questionable motives at 3-9. Now, Swart still has the best record against Deason for all of Deason's opponents. 14-9 coming into this game. Sadly, it is 14. Well, actually, not sadly. It is now 14-10. Deesum 98.5. Swart 87.5. If you're Deesum, Aaron Jones 19.5, and a lot of that was on a 77-yard touchdown run late in the fourth quarter. Kelsey 18, Boyd 14.5, Patrick Mahomes only 10. By the way, Tyler Boyd's 14.5 also came on one play, and then he was promptly ejected for fighting. But all these points added up. Of course, Kareem Hunt, 3.5. Decent. Probably like to see a little bit more out of him. Not entirely sure he's going to get it. On his bench, boy, oh boy, Decent dodged a big one. Baker Mayfield, 34.5 points over Patrick Mahomes, 12 points. But let's be honest, you were never going to start Baker Mayfield over Patrick Mahomes. Had you lost, and that would have been the case, boy, oh boy, between that and the JaMychal Hasty debacle, it would have maybe been time for the toilet seat to find its way home. If you are Swart, Kirk Cousins got to start a game, 24 points. David Akers, 12.5 points. Sorry, Cam Akers. I was so used to back in the bop. His David Aker days where he always wanted that kicker. Sorry. Cam Akers, what's the interesting thing about this is Cam Akers was a rookie. He had kept him on his team all year, not played him, said to me privately that he was even thinking about keeping him. Probably not going to happen. He played this week, 12.5. J.K. Dobbins and the Vikings defense both got 10 points together. Now it is time to update that chart. Clyde, with that fat zero, stays at 99 points. You're like, what do you mean stays, Brett? Yeah, I know. I updated it. Aaron Jones all the way up to 138 with his performance, but James Robinson at 153, solidly leading the way, regular season champ of the chart. But look out. He's on the move, added 9 points to his total. He is now only 27 points behind Clyde. Will he catch him as we finish up the season? That is why we watch, and that is why we play the games. However, this last game, I'm not entirely sure needed to be played at all. The King, who will be changing his name, the decree was last week, coming in at 5-7, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 2-10, who were trying to avoid tying the worst record in league history, and he did so because of Tuesday Night Football. 84 points to Sid, 79.5. If you're Andy, Taysom Hill and David Montgomery both had 20 points. Oh, I was trying to what the hell does that say? Justin Tucker with 11 points. Hollywood Brown and Michael Thomas both had 10.5. Christian Kirk, half point. Lamar Jackson, best performance of the year. Underperforming up and down. Wouldn't give that man a cent of my money to be my team starting quarterback. Andy benched him this week, and he rewarded Andy with 34 points. That was awesome. Sid did finally put in Brian Tannehill into the lineup, 26 points. Dalvin Cook, 13. The Rams defense, 11. Terry McLaurin, 1. Austin Eckler, 6. Now, Eckler was kind of a bomb. McLaurin, though, lowest output of the season. Deontay, best receiver in football. Johnson on the bench, 14 points. That, too, would have netted Sid a victory. However, he takes another loss. He's not back, baby. He's out of the playoffs and really just trying to figure out what to do from here. All right, the stud, the dud, the decent. Darren Waller, 34.5 points this week. All-time high for him in his very young career. He is the stud. Dud of the week, Ezekiel Elliott, and really kind of dud of the year. Half of his points from last year. Somehow, Matt persevered. Somehow. How did Matt actually do so well this year? It's almost like something was behind that. Anyways, or Terry McLaurin, which is 1 point, but really doesn't matter because Sid was already out. This week's reason why Adam Swart should win the DSIM, he started as rookie keeper in the final week of the season when he was already out of the playoffs. What an idiot. In fact, I'm pretty sure that toilet seat is still sitting outside of his house because he is so proud of it, and he probably is going to get it back going in to next year. All right, here we go. Playoffs week 1. The buys. Myself and Matt. First round buys. We'll pat on the back. Take a break. Make yourself a drink. Watch the rest of your friends beat up on each other. And we'll get ready for next week. Number 3 seed, Mana, 3-time Lucky Pants. Looking for a 4th-time champ. Mana coming in at 9-4. Taking on Linkowitz at 6-7. The 6 seed. Interesting. Of course, Derrick Henry, a little over halfway through the season, switched teams. Will Derrick Henry prove to be the reason Jeff wins, or will Derrick Henry let Jeff down? And John moves on. We'll have to wait and see. 4th seed, Radioactive Monkeys coming to 8-5, taking on the 5 seed, Ryan Diesel Fantasy Football Team at 7-6. Also in the consolation bracket. Remember, win your last game and you are still a champion. Plenty of trophies to prove that. Pack Attack at 6 and 7, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 3 and 10. Plan B at 3 and 10, taking on the King at 5 and 8. Now, one last thing here before I go. I mentioned earlier, the last time I had 9 victories was in 03. In 03, my starting quarterback was the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback. My defense was the Miami Dolphins. My defense this year is the Dolphins. My starting quarterback is the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback. In 2003, yeah, I won the whole damn thing. And we're fixing to do it again. All right, folks, it's been a wild ride. Buckle your seatbelts. Get yourselves ready for the playoffs because we are just about out. Mr. Brett, I got him. Mr. Brett, I got him.